Thank you, Scott. And welcome to Althea on this fall morning. Welcome to everyone online. Learning where everyone can have a seat. So we're going to the sacred space in a sacred place and time. Good morning. I'm Rev Christina Jones. On this fall morning, I have to say I'm cold here in Colorado. It's definitely football season. I can feel it. I also invite everyone to be still and know, and to gently quiet your cell phones. We don't need spirit speaking through a cell phone right now. Cell phones speak a lot. And to give yourself some sacred time. I even sometimes challenge people, I dare you to turn off your iPhones, iPad, anything that bells and blinks and whistles and all that good stuff. So as we begin most of our mornings with a land acknowledgement of Althea Center that's been here over 100 years, that sits upon sacred land of the Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Ute people. And it's important that we name them for their legacy, fulfills the energy of this space that God has created. And Althea looks for many opportunities to support the indigenous people as well as this land. And in this building, we have two nonprofits. They are the Spirit of the Sun and the Sisters of Color United in Education. Through activism and programming and education is very impactful to the Denver community. In our affirmation of diversity, we affirm that Althea, this beautiful center, is active in the unification of oneness. We are growing in diversity in race, gender, sexual orientation, age, ethnicity, backgrounds, and physical abilities. We are evolving in the oneness and the unification of consciousness, high consciousness, I might add, moving beyond differences and dichotomies to embrace oneness, unity, and community. We're ever more aware of the past and present biases and atrocities, and committed to being a healing source and force for this community, for this state, and for this world. So anyone that's first time here, I invite you, if you're not too shy, to raise your hand, and someone will bring you a flower. And we have lunch here afterwards, which is so much fun. Great food, great community where you could get to know everyone. And your lunch is free for your first time. And if you can't stay because we have a Bronco game today, or people want to get off and go do other things and have brunch, we will hold that free space for you for the next time that you come. And thank you again for being here. Thank you online. If you are first time, please go to our website and introduce yourself, or put your name on Facebook, on YouTube. That's the first time you're watching. And now, Alice will enthusiastically pray us in. Thank you, Alice.
Good morning. I'd like for you to just take a nice, whoops. That's known as a little joke for me or something. So it's funny, I asked Christina what the theme was, and she said enthusiasm for spirit. And I thought, ooh, I like enthusiasm. So let's enthusiastically join together in the field for a few moments as we gratefully begin our service today. I invite you to close your eyes and breathe deep into being here now. Bring yourself fully here. You have the next hour or so just for you and your spirit to connect and strengthen and be at peace and feel community. So nice deep breath as we breathe as one, feeling connected and supported, with the full awareness that in this moment we have complete and total access to absolute healing absolute love, absolute energy, absolute enthusiasm, absolute connection to one another as embodied, individualized expressions of the one energy, one source, one God that unites us all. We're so very grateful now for this cloudy day that helps us feel a little more cozy where we are on the earth, helps us focus more fully and really be here now. And so it is.
Good morning. Please stand as you're able and join me in our statement of being, followed by the face of God. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. We are a family. You are the face of God. Thank you. Our featured musician today is Scott Scheinman, playing Native American flutes. Born and raised in Denver, Scott's early musical experience was piano and church choir. He discovered his love of flutes by joining a recorder ensemble with a former colleague, roommate, and friends in the 1980s. Later, in 2003, he bought his first Native American flute at the Stanford Powwow in California and became hooked. He has helped teach the instrument and performed in places such as coffee shops, hospitals, and rest homes. While in California, he was a member of the Northern California Flute Circle, and after coming back to Denver a few years ago, he's now a member of the Mile High Flute Circle. Please welcome Scott Scheinman.
Thank you for letting me come and play this beautiful instrument for you. One of the most well-known performers of the Native American flute is named R. Carlos Nakai. And this song I'm going to play is his song from his very first disc, which was released in 1983, so 50 years, if you believe it. The name of that disc was called Changes. This song, which I love to play, is called December Snow. Ah. I better do it right.
Good morning. In preparation for Christina's message, I have two readings. The first reading is by Alice Walker, American novelist and poet. The harm that you do to others is the harm that you do to yourself. And you cannot think then that you can cause wars in other parts of the world and destroy people and drone them without this having a terrible impact on your own soul and your own consciousness. And the second is by Helena Hovitz-Riegel, an editor, writer, and author of the memoir After 9/11. I learned to empathize with people who were being mean. I learned how to help someone when I felt upset, and that doing so would make me feel better. Seeing what's wrong is easy, but it takes an effort to see what's right. And that's honestly the most useful thing I've learned in my recovery process. I chose a career of writing about news that inspires, helps raise awareness and funding for nonprofits, and builds people up rather than scare them. The bad things going on in the world don't have to affect the good things that you bring to it. Focus on bringing as much good as you can into your own world, your everyday life, and the people who enter or pass through it. Next, we have a message by Christina, Reverend Christina. Soon she won't need any introduction, but for those of you who are new, and also as just a reminder to the rest of us, let me read about her background. Reverend Christina Jones is the Althea Center Spiritual Director and Religious Science CSL Minister, Certified Personal Development Coach, Inspirational Speaker, Dietitian, and author. Reverend Christina is the founder and creator of DivineFeminineEvolution.org, a new CSL-affiliated focus ministry celebrating the divine feminine in all. Reverend Christina has been active in the New Thought and New Age movement since childhood. 7 generations of powerful ancestors in her lineage have passed on metaphysical and spiritual principles from her family traditions. She celebrates life with her husband and thrives in the magical mountains of Colorado. Christina is a healing emissary of light for herself and the world. Reverend Christina.
Thank you, Barbara. Good morning again. This is a bittersweet time, the day before 9/11. And as our earth is changing, I have a request for all of us this week. Home Mother Earth, people in Morocco, even people in Maui, places that even some news outlets aren't even talking about anymore. Let's hold the light and the vision. I'm enthusiastic, usually I'm anyway, about this talk. And it's about consciousness. This whole month is about the origins, going back to the lineage. But I'm going to bring up 9/11 for a brief moment and relate to higher consciousness. It's been over 20 years. It still feels like it was yesterday. I was near Warren Air Force Base when it happened. That was a very big day for me, especially hearing from my father, who I hadn't talked to in 10 years, told me to get home. But that day was higher consciousness. I felt a peace and a calmness. Even when I know of a story of a relative of mine who was pregnant and was in the second building when the first building took the hit, that she got up, took her bag, and walked out of the building. She saved her life. Her daughter's now 20 years old. She doesn't even believe in any of New Thought, spirituality. But I know that was her inner self that said, get up and leave. So in theos, the root word of enthusiasm means of God, of light, of power, of possibility. And consciousness is being awake and being aware. God created the universe out of sheer loving consciousness, higher evolutionary consciousness. And we are called to be that. We are that. Are you willing to embrace that? When people talk about peace, everyone's praying for peace. Well, are you being peaceful in your body? Are you consciously peaceful in your body, in your mind, in your heart, body, and soul? Because everyone's looking to heal everyone else, but they're not healing themselves. So it's time to be conscious and conscious aware and stop sitting down and waiting, because we are the ones that we're waiting for. There are other faiths and other religions. They are literally waiting for a man to show up on a cloud. That is not happening. Some pictures I've seen, I'm like, that looks like Zeus with the lightning bolts and everything. You'll be waiting for a long time. We are to hold a place of consciousness right here and right now. So September, we're going back to origins. True teaching is not an accumulation of knowledge. It is an awakening of consciousness, which goes through successive stages. Some teachers believe there's 25 levels of consciousness. I've read books on 4 levels of consciousness. I think there's 7 levels of consciousness. Who knows? Lower consciousness is when we're unconscious. When we spew out anger and we say we want peace. When we're screaming and yelling. When we get mad or we pass judgment on another person just because we disagree. How about we have conscious disagreements? What's the possibility of that? And not going into fear or catching yourself when you go into fear. Consciousness really means being awake. It's being in the present moment. You can't create anything without being present. The women that created this foundation, trust and believe in the 1800s, they were conscious. Consciousness created the internet. Higher consciousness created ourselves, our mind, our bodies, and souls. Last week when I spoke of origins, prayer, affirmative prayer, we will have workshops next year on affirmative prayer beginning in January, on prosperity, that's consciousness, law of attraction, consciousness, higher consciousness. We're going to steep into that. The begging and the beseeching, Lord, please give me the lottery. Lord, help me to find a new job. Lord, 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 those old ways, that doesn't work, because if you notice, the prayer hasn't been answered yet. Begging and beseeching does not work. It's a lower frequency. It's unconscious. And by the way, we were taught that. That's old ways of being. Everyone says this is new thought. It's not new thought. It's been here. The Egyptians knew it. The Hindus do it. They believed in oneness. So speaking of oneness, I might trigger some people online or even in the room. Woke. Ha! Really? Are we really woke? Higher consciousness is really calling us. Woke has turned into a political firestorm. It's a 4-letter word I don't even like. A lot of people are unaware the term woke is a black term. African Americans said it in the 30s. And then it resurfaced in the 50s and the 60s. I asked my mother when this came out in 2018, when I started hearing about it. And she said it was about the civil rights movement and about voting. It was about telling other black people, don't go to sleep. Just because my mother got the right to vote, don't go to sleep, stay awake. Stay affirming your truth and your peace and your oneness. That's what woke means. Moving forward, it's been hijacked. It's been turned into something totally different, and now it's weaponized. We got one part of the country making fun of other people that's saying they're woke, and another part of the country, they're walking around saying they're woke, but the moment I walk through the door, and maybe in a grocery store, I'm the only black person there, those woke people, they woke all right, they're watching me, making sure I don't steal anything. That's not woke. That's trying to fit in to some dichotomy that doesn't even exist because it wasn't even founded in truth. Being awake, if you catch yourself saying you're woke, say you're conscious, that you're aware of the oneness, that when you look at someone, you see them as a child of the divine. Even when you see someone you don't agree with politically, even something they may be wearing, like a particular hat, just saying, you can still look at that individual saying, it's okay. When someone dislikes someone else, and you believe in oneness, but someone in your family doesn't like someone because they have a little bit more melanin in their skin, are you kidding me? Call them on it. We are here to teach one another. When you hear someone, especially during the holidays when we all get with interesting family members, and they say something about someone that is transgender or LGBTQ, whatever they feel different, and the other person feels threatened or they're uncomfortable with, call them on it. You could do it with love and consciousness. You could do it with a smile. You can do it with a touch. That's how you're awoke. That's how you're conscious. That's how you step into a higher frequency. Don't just sit there and allow other people to hurt other people. You don't have to hurt them, but it could be a smile, it could be a touch. It could be even you touching your heart. Because some people, they don't know it, but they're unconsciously operating at a lower frequency and hurting themselves. I do coaching outside of speaking and everything else. And I lovingly do, and I've been doing it for over 9 years. I have a nutrition degree. And I worked at Littleton Hospital for a year. And I quit. And I love nutrition and the human body and how it operates with food through the light of the divine. And I quit because I was going into hospital rooms when the doctor said, well, you work out the diet, here's the meds they're on. And at this time, I noticed these people, some people were in their late 30s having triple bypass surgeries. They were obese. They were unhappy. Now, I was in these teachings then. I couldn't bring it out in the forefront. I would just always pray that Spirit just work through me to meet them where they are. I walk in, meet the family, and no one wants to change the way they're eating, even though their 35-year-old son just had a triple bypass surgery, and just wham. No, you can't tell us we can't eat McDonald's. They can't do that. The whole family was operating unconsciously. And fast forward, I see it even now. Our society's looking at pills and shots in the stomach so it can still do it. And when I say it, I'm talking the human ego unconsciously wrecking your beautiful body and your mind and your finances. It's time to really wake up. We want peace and wholeness, and everyone's like, why is this happening? Why is the Ukraine happening? How come Maui's happening and all this stuff? Well, maybe Gaia is showing us a reflection of what we're doing to each other. How do we rip each other apart? That's an earthquake. That's a volcano. People having strokes and heart attacks. Well, what's the energy that needs to come out? What can you do constructively? Pray, meditate, call for support. We have practitioners here. Call someone. Reach out. That's your consciousness saying, I need help. I need assistance. We are not here by ourselves. We were not created by ourselves. We just didn't pop up on the planet. Spirit, God, divine source is higher consciousness. And dare I say Christ consciousness. I am talking a higher frequency. Jesus' last name was not Christ. He was not Mr. Christ. Your coffee's ready? Yeshua ben Joseph was his real name. Politics turned into Christianity. It causes separation. We are about oneness. If you're new watching online, it's about oneness. It's about totality of consciousness. Albert Einstein, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. We are what we think about. We are what we feel, and we are what we believe. How about start believing in peace? We don't know in all of our lifetimes what peace on this planet looks like because we haven't seen it. My great-grandparents were in World War I. So since I've been here, there's always been something. But I've seen peaceful communities. I've seen peaceful neighborhoods. Friends and family be at peace and at love. Maybe we start at home base. Everything is shifting on the planet. The money's shifting. I'm going out of town soon and got an email. This place no longer takes cash. Only credit cards or apps. Guys, remember this. The money wasn't the way the money looks now. There's a change amidst. So how about we change our level of consciousness to be a little bit more flexible? We got shocked with COVID. That everything literally shut down. You couldn't go to a football game or a movie theater. We didn't see it coming. And a lot of people went into crisis, sadly enough, because we got stuck like little robots. Everyone's worried about AI. Well, we were acting like robots. We were blown away. What do you mean learn Zoom? I had to get out of ministerial school and they had to change everything to Zoom. We couldn't meet together in community. Trying to do this online, that was a challenge. We have to raise our consciousness. And this is not the first time that we've had to do this. Our ancestors, we changed consciousness after 9/11. I remember being able to bring a fingernail file on a plane. Good Lord. Everything changed. There was no TSA. Do you remember that? You just went to the gate. You could walk a loved one to the gate. In my opinion, America's level of consciousness was nothing will ever happen on our soil again. Pearl Harbor rocked the world. It rocked the United States. But none of us were here for it. When 9/11 happened, yes, sadness, shock, and awe. That a group of people could take a plane and weaponize it. There was a little bit of an arrogance within America saying, well, that happens in the Middle East, but that doesn't happen to us. That shouldn't happen to us. Well, what does that us mean? Us against them? How about we just see the collective that anything is possible, and we're to hold the light of consciousness, to stop saying platitudes like woke this and all the little sayings that, and all the little memes. Those memes are not healing this planet, nor our consciousness, nor our life. Everything starts at your consciousness now. So where's your consciousness at? Are you operating in peace? Are you fighting with people at work, online? Are you getting upset when you don't get your way? And what does your way even mean? I have to ask myself that. Some days things are just weird. I had the weirdest week. My brand new phone locked up. Couldn't turn it on, turn it off. I couldn't check anything till 11 o'clock. And I laughed because I'm like going, oh, this is funny. Because I remember when phones came out, the big brick that my grandmother had. I miss the days of an answer machine. Still have one at home, but now everyone expects you to get back to them immediately. Wasn't it fun to just let the answer machine play? And you act like you weren't home? When you wanted a break from a relative or a friend who just didn't want to be bothered, now everyone's like, well, I texted you like 5 times, like 5 minutes ago. So that taught me something. I'm like, okay, I had a meeting that day, and I was thinking, well, if I'm running late, I know I can go here. And good news, I have the wherewithal to memorize certain telephone numbers. I'm like, okay, I need to work on that for myself. Next day, driving in Denver, get the biggest screw I've ever seen in my tire. I'm like, wow, this is waking me up because I made a plan for my day. And I'm really good at making plans and this and this and this. I'm like, well, we're not doing that today. And I'm driving up and down Colfax, and all the air compressors, except for one, was broken. Breathe, breathe. I did drive down the road and go, this is ridiculous. This is a big city. Calm down. Found myself talking to myself, and it felt good. Did. I was like, okay. There was a time I didn't have a car. I didn't get my first car until I was 21. And I knew I could call anyone. I was down the street from Althea. I could have called anyone. I was like, it's time to just be calm. It was a time I rode the bus most part of my life. Used to walk, and I did walk for miles for school. Because I went to private school, and weird things happened financially. And I walked 4 miles a day to go to school. And I was like, I got a nice car. It's all right, you know. I got AAA. I made it to Discount Tire. They didn't charge me. And the guy's like, we're not charging. I'm like, how come you're not charging me? He's like, you came in here nice, and that was a big screw. I would have been mad. I was called to be in consciousness and not freak out. And the old me, yes, would freak out. How many times do we all want to freak out and scream, the sky is falling? I should have put Chicken Little up here. Consciousness, our higher consciousness is calling us. What is ours to do? Affirm that everything's going to be okay, and recognize Spirit, God, Source really is all there is. And some days it's hard for me to even get there myself. But then I have to look at my fingers. I'm like, well, my eyes are blinking. I'm not, something greater than me is doing this. My faith has been shaken. I went 10 years and I didn't pray. I was mad. I was mad in my youth of everything that happened to me in my childhood. Saying, how could God do this? Till I woke up and realized, wait a minute. These people didn't act alone. They consciously did this, but it was unconscious. Now, the rest of this month, next week, my dear friend Melinda's going to be here. And she speaks on super consciousness and subconscious. Our subconscious sometimes tell us we're not good enough. It's an old wiring. It's an old pattern. Our parents have provided many gifts in our childhood. We chose this path. I know some days it looks challenging, especially when you look at Morocco and other parts of the world. I understand that. But we got to recognize God's got this. It's not me. It's Spirit that works through thee. Spirit is working through us. How about we allow it consciously? How about this month? Pick up a new habit. Pick up a new way of being. Do something different. Start a new ritual. Open up your eyes and say thank you. We're going to see a lot of crazy stuff on the news and social media. A lot of things are shifting. This is unprecedented times, but we can be conscious in it and go into that higher realm of possibility. Lynn McTaggart, The Field. Sometimes I call God the field. Consciousness can affect consciousness. We can affect and effect each other. The collective consciousness is ultimately made up of individual consciousness. Our own consciousness influences the whole, just as the whole influences us. Amen. We are energetic beings. How many times you've gone into work or a place or walk into a family or friend's house and you can feel someone is ticked off before they say a word. And then you get ticked off because they're ticked off. I want to challenge you. Be an energy shifter. I do it a lot. Walk into a place and smile at everyone. Some people might think you're crazy, but do it. And a nice smile, like a heart smile. You could feel energy when you walked in the door. The first time I walked in here, I felt nothing but power, love, and light. There's an energetic frequency on this beautiful corner. We're all intuitive, and we're all high consciousness, and we all get to create from a place of peace and love. Be the love that you seek. Be it for you. Feel the love that you seek. Feel it. Even if you have to chant the word love and you're crying in the mist, I've done it. I've done it till I felt it. You can even say an affirmation. I am higher consciousness. Even if you're not clear what it is, play with it. Have fun with it. That's going back to the origins, because that's who we are. That's that trust and that faith and that higher knowing. And Melinda Kramer, one of the founders of the center, true and permanent healing is done in the consciousness of unity, that it as principle is infallible. And that is from the book, Divine Science and Healing. There's many jewels in that book. Unity, consciousness exists. How about we really focus on that? We cannot change other people's behavior with anger and rage. Peace, be still. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that we are God's. We can't help but be that. We are that. Be into that unity and breathe into that. That was written in the early 1900s. She couldn't even vote. That's unity. Believe in that. And we can believe in that because we can raise the frequency on this planet. It only takes literally 144,000 people waking up. Scientists have done studies on that. We're waking up. We're waking up at a higher frequency. Allow it to unfold beautifully. And just hold on. Take a deep breath. Those times during this month or the remainder of this year, when sometimes we see things that are weird, breathe. And Scott, if you could start. I'm going to invite us all for this moment to breathe into the stillness. If you're watching online, take a breath this week or even now. And know whatever challenges we have, and they do show up, this too shall pass. Nothing is permanent. Only consciousness is permanent. Consciousness is everything and everywhere. If you're willing to close the outer eye so the inner eye can open, and you can hear with your inner being, your inner heart, knowing there's a love, there's a peace, there's a higher consciousness calling us all. And I know in this moment, even when we feel in a place that we're disconnected, there's something breathing us, the ancestral life that surrounds us, the angels, the spirit guides, the divine frequency known by no name and all names, that which is guides a beautiful universal frequency of peace and love and higher consciousness. And I am grateful, and I'm calling forth and realizing that we are being activated. We are being activated. The sound flows through the beautiful flute. We are being activated to a higher awareness, a higher source, a higher consciousness. Collectively, we get to shift into a place of love and wholeness, and everything that is not of the divine light, of that holy essence God, is falling away, will fall away. For truth and light always reveal and prevails. And I'm grateful for all of our very breaths. I'm grateful for the community, for knowing, for the truth, love, and wisdom is unfolding in this new, powerful place and time. And as we sleep and meditate and pray, there's a higher consciousness that's breathing and flowing through our body now. And thank you, and so it be. Ashe. Amen.
Tomorrow is 9/11, an anniversary of a terrible tragedy that happened 22 years ago. We measure anniversaries by years, but we measure special anniversaries by numbers that end in 0, like 10 and 20. The song that I'm about to play for you was born on the 10th anniversary, that's 12 years ago now, when I went to my computer because I wanted to see the opening, the first people who got to see the Memorial Plaza that has those two reflecting ponds, the waterfalls, and the names of all the people who died in the bronze parapets around the waterfalls. I had watched a TV show a month earlier about the rebuilding of Ground Zero. And one of the main producers was a fellow by the name of Steven Spielberg. And so you can kind of imagine that it was an upbeat show. And so I was feeling positive about what I would see. And yet what actually happened was this photograph. what could I do with this photograph? This man standing there, the names of coworkers of his are etched there who died. And all the little flowers and the flags and the family with tracing paper, copying the name of their loved one. I had a flute sitting next to me, and I picked it up, and a song started to happen, and that turned into the song that I'm going to play for you now. It combined the emotions of the moment for me, and I gave it a rather long title. It's called 9/11/11, A Lament and Anthem in Remembrance and in Hope. Now, before I play it, I need to let you know one thing. They did a moment of silence, a minute of silence for the first 10 years in New York at the moment that each of the two towers fell. And so I wrote a moment of silence into this song, and I offer it to all of you, each of you, as you wish, to pray for whatever you choose. You can pray, of course, for the victims of 9/11 or the survivors who had to go through so much emotional pain, or something personal for yourself or someone you know or the planet. Anyway, now I'm going to play the song for you. This is a lament and anthem for 9/11 in remembrance and in hope.
Thank you, Scott. That was beautiful. Now is the time of sharing offertory and offering and circulating energy. So I invite the ushers to come up and pass the baskets. Online, there's many ways to give. You may go to our website, and all of your donations are appreciated. You may set up weekly or reoccurring donations. You can also, if you're here, the QR code on the back of your little Sunday gathering form, you can scan that. And there's also the dip jars. I call them the Vegas jars. You can dip your card in, and it's $10 a dip, and it just lights up, lighting up that energy. And all your donations are truly appreciated as the sanctuary is being painted. There are many things that we are holding and manifesting to maintain this building for another 100 years. For this center does not operate just prayer alone. Treat and move your feet, and also know that all the circulation comes back to you. You can't take it with you. Just saying. And moves the energy forward. Come back. Ushers, you can come up. And we're going to do an affirmation, knowing that this all returns 100-fold. And together we say, the universe provides all that I need and all that I give. With great joy, I share my prosperity, planting seeds for a world I'm helping manifest. And so it is. So it is. Thank you. And now it's the time of sharing prayers for the people. We do the KISS method here. If you want to share a prayer request, we ask that you only use a first name. If you wish us to hold in prayer for someone else, only share their first name and make sure you have permission. This is online, YouTube and Facebook. Confidentiality actually protects your loved ones' hearts in the prayers for the people, so we're affirming for it. And if you are uncomfortable sharing now, there's prayer request papers in the back. A practitioner will be sending out emails to the prayer team at Althea. We pray over them for an entire week. I see them. I hold the high vision, knowing the truth. And we have practitioners here today for a deeper dive for you, to hold you in consciousness and to be with you and affirm with you. But sometimes we can't see ourselves.
I have a request for my family. My grandmother Sue passed a few days ago, and she has peacefully passed into spirit, and I'm in touch with her. However, before she left, she created a bit of a wave with the family. Her second son's ex-wife and his 2 children have been estranged, and I pray for peace and forgiveness from that side of the family so that we can be together once more in unity.
Thank you.
I would like prayers for Morocco and all of the devastation of the earthquakes. Morocco holds a very dear place in my heart. I was there 50 years ago and lived there.
Yes, I have 2 things. One, I have a brother-in-law that was in a head-on collision with a drunk driver who was also homeless. And this was on Monday, and he's in the hospital with many things going on, but he's doing well, and just a little prayer for him to even do better as he moves through this journey. Also, for some people in Greece. First they went through fires, now they're going through floods. I don't know where, but somewhere in Greece. Just a lot of prayers for them. And the man that I was talking about, his name is Bill.
Thank you.
I'd like to send out a prayer for Arica and Steve. They're not here today because his cat Turtle is in the process of transitioning, and I just want to hold space for them, for their little four-legged, family member. And once again, just for all of the people who are feeling any form of devastation and uncertainty in the world, in Canada, in Maui, in Morocco, in Greece, in Italy, and so many other places that are just experiencing physically the shift that our planet is going through right now. Just holding us all in our hearts. And then personally, my house, I live in a house that's divided into apartments, and my downstairs neighbor was broken into while he was sleeping. This person actually came into our home. And just a healing over our house for whatever trauma any of us might be experiencing residually. So if you could just hold my house in prayer. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don? Okay, for our, and I say our, mine and many people in here, Mark Upshaw is having his major neck surgery tomorrow morning, early, and so just a little good energy flowing in his direction from all of us to him. Thanks.
And those of you online, again, feel free to email your prayer requests. One more.
My family's been in turmoil for quite a while, and my father was diagnosed with prostate cancer recently. So I just pray for healing, and this is a time for change for me, and just the ability to let go of those things that are unhealthy in my life and embrace those things that should be embraced. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the reminder. I just want us to continue to hold up Ukraine and the people in what has become a very long slog for them. Thank you.
And now the announcements. Thank you all, and they're being held in light and trust.
Good morning. I'm Jenny, and I am up here to tell you about what is happening in the Althea ecosystem. And I want to thank everyone who chose this over football for right now. Don't worry, you've got plenty of time to get to your Bronco celebrations. But thank you, really and truly, thank you for being here. So what is going on at Althea? Community Connections is something that happens every Thursday on Zoom, so we still have some virtual offerings that have been around now for quite a while. That's at 11 a.m. Kathy Humphreys, we always have Kathy Wave if you'd like to know more about Community Connections. It's basically different every week, and it's a discussion that you get to take a deep dive into. We have an Althea book club that Reverend Arica King is leading, and you can join it at any time. You can jump in right now, go to the website. In fact, everything I'm telling you about right now, you can go to the website to learn more. But you can find out about the book, because I don't actually have it in my notes, so I can't even tell you what the book is. But go to the website, and unfortunately Reverend Arica is not here today. You just let us know. So find out. Talk to some folks who will know. Integrative Yoga with Linda is back at Althea, and she says the end of summer is the best time of year to resolve and heal any issues related to excess thinking, worry, and anxiety that come from feeling lack of support and nourishment in life. So check that out. That is also on Thursdays. And many of these things are in the program that you were handed as well. So you have details there. That is 5:30 p.m. So check that out. We are still raising funds to finish the beautiful work that we started inside the building. We have an audacious goal by the end of the year of $100,000 raised, and we are more than 2/3 of the way there. So please help us get to that last 27,000. If you can help us with that, we will get there. We've got plenty of time to get there, but feel free to donate today. We also do a gong bath. If you have never been bathed in the vibrations of a gong, come out on Sunday, September 24th at 12:30. So you can join us on that Sunday, you can eat lunch, and then you can come right in here on the stage and be bathed by the vibrations of a gong. It's pretty cool. And now, let me see if there's anything else. Yes? Of the Middle East? Masters of the Middle East. How cool is that? Thank you. Anything else in... Okay. Or it's the way of mastery. So maybe go to the website. Thank you for trying, though. You knew more than I did. Do go to the website and check that out. And Christina, are we doing a deep dive today? Yes. Okay. So if you enjoyed this message that Christina gave us, and a big round of applause for Christina. Sometimes it feels right to clap, and sometimes we're in a somber place, at the end of her message. So if you enjoyed her message and you want to be in a smaller, facilitated group to go into a deeper dive, we call it the deep dive, that's going to happen today. Again, you still have plenty of time to join us in the dining room. And then around 12:30, I'm going to guess, maybe even a little bit earlier, on the other side of this wall, you can join that facilitated discussion. So be part of that. Now, I'm going to try something. I took improv lessons at one point. So I'm going to try some improvisation because there's something I want to bring back to Althea. When I was brand new here, twice a week, we had a chanting circle. It met upstairs. It was a good dozen, sometimes 20 people. And like I say, they did this twice a week. That's how popular it was. We were led by a beautiful soul named Angela Gaelic, who played guitar. And then she often had a buddy. And these were chants that were Hindu chants, Native American chants, Jewish chants. It was so cool. So first I want to see if you guys know how to chant. So thank you for raising your hand, Chadwick. So I expect a big chant from you, sir. Because this is going to be a little bit call and response. And I'm not even warmed up, so I hope I can do this. Okay? So I want to hear it big from you all. I'm going to do it. You're going to call and response it right back at me. Ready? Govinda, Govinda, Hare, Hare. Govinda, Govinda, Hare, Hare. I see you, Bruce. Govinda, Govinda, Hare, Hare. Well done. Give yourselves a hand. You can chant. It's that simple. If this is something you think we should bring back, and I am happy to spearhead it, I'll take that as a yes. Talk to me afterwards, and let's get this thing going. I think the world needs some chanting. And with that, I will turn it back over to the Reverend Christina.
That was a nice surprise.
Now Jason's back over there. Jason wears many hats here, so he's not always at there we go. Our community song today is it was made into a popular song in the 60s, but it's actually taken from Ecclesiastes. So today our community song is Turn, Turn, Turn. So please stand as you're able. Join Rick and I in our community song. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time that you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to reign, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. Thank you so much.